Welcome to this edition of Thought to Action, presented by Project Sentinel and the London Center for Policy Research. I'm Chris Cordani, your host. This is Culture Wars, the Insurgency, Part 4. And with us, we have our regular band of insurgents. Our president, Tony Shaffer, Lieutenant Colonel retired. We have Cherie, Currie, recording artist. We also have Jennie Belle Matthias, recording artist. And recording artist, see where the pattern's going here, Nancy Quatro Glass, and actress Susan Olsen.
Two of these things don't look like the others.
That's right. And I should have a paper bag on my head because I have the face for radio and we're doing video. I've been in radio for long enough. This is Culture Wars, the Insurgency.
Chris, you're the Gene Rayburn of the group, just saying.
I like that. I am Gene Rayburn. How about this? Dumb Dora is so dumb.
How dumb was she?
She is so dumb that she wanted to tape a video of herself saying she'll punch out the president if he comes down and speaks on January 6th. Wait a minute.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That's dumb. Nancy is so dumb. I can't believe she actually filmed. Nancy Pelosi actually filmed herself or had her daughter film her talking about punching the president out and threatening a sitting president at the time where she learned that Trump was going to go talk to some of his supporters who were outside on January 6th, 2021. It almost tells me that this whole drama was a huge setup. And Tony, you talked about this several times in past Thought to Actions, only for a little bit because we know what happened when you did so at the time. Bringing up the name Ray Epps was a no-no on YouTube, right. But the fact is, a lot of people are talking about him right now. So let's start right there.
Well, as Trent Lott once told me, it's never good to be right ahead of time in Washington. And I have found that out over and over and over. And here we are, deja vu all over again. Boy, am I mixing my metaphors today. Well, anyway, Jennie and I both have the distinction of the group of being banned from Twitter. And maybe Elon will fix it, maybe he won't. But with that said, my great sin to get me permanently banned was to dare to bring up the fact that Ray Epps was at one point in time on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, and he mysteriously drops off. Oh, nothing to see here. And there's videos that have never been disputed of him insurrecting. Gee, there's a word for you. Insurrecting the causation, the insurrection causation on the streets of Washington, literally at the corner of Fox News, right across from Union Station. If you look at the tape, he's doing that whole night before the 5th of January, the insurrection right in front of Fox News there at North Capitol Street. I know the exact spot. And then the next day, he is on video breaching, being the first guy to encourage and direct the breaching of the security line around the Capitol. And somehow the FBI can't figure this out. And yet, because I state the objective facts, to quote Tulsi Gabbard in her war against disinformation, the idea that we should all agree on objective facts. Speaking objective facts on Twitter, where I finally got Ray Epps to respond to me, and maybe that was the issue. Maybe they saw my stating of facts as harassing Ray Epps because he finally responded. That's when I got banned from Twitter. So, it just seems to me really peculiar that simply stating facts was the spike in the heart of Tony Shaffer's Twitter feed for that very, very issue. So I don't, judge for yourself.
Tony, can I ask you a question? I mean, am I wrong, but didn't Trump offer Pelosi the National Guard that day?
She did?
She did.
Thank you, he did. So
he did.
Yes. So
right.
Thank you for that question.
She turned him down, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so the acting Secretary of Defense had actually sent a memo saying that the day before, here's what we have, take it. They were going to give him folks around the Capitol from a number of National Guards and keep, and Cherie, to your point, listen to Pelosi's full interview. She's actually listing out all of these units in the Maryland National Guard and Virginia National Guard, which are connected because they're right next to DC. Those units were already ready to go. They were just starting to move them in. So she said no, just for the purposes of doing the dramatic, oh, we need to call for reinforcements. It's all there on tape.
Yeah.
It's all there. So all I'm asking people to do is just think for yourself. Look at what's going on. It's right there. And to your point, Cherie, they offered support. What's not been publicly acknowledged, which I'll just say because I know from direct fact, they had a unit of special operations folks at the Ford office building just off across the way, still ready to go. And they didn't use those guys. So it's just to me a complete fiction that the whole thing had to be as bad as it was. They wanted it to be that bad so they can film themselves saying, "Oh my God, we're about to die." And I think it was all a hoax.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
Completely.
And I'm going to I'm sorry to step on you, Nancy, but whatever happened to that dude that was out there the day before saying, we've got to.
Yeah, that's Ray Epps.
That's
That was Ray Epps. That was
yes. Yeah, exactly.
So
See, you remember.
whatever happened to that guy?
Nothing.
He got off the most wanted list.
Oh,
They gave him $2 million, let him buy an RV, and he's now living in like some Western state, going from Starbucks to Starbucks, pretending that he's an outlaw. Seriously. Remember, because Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party, the title of most attractive Democrat now falls back to Nancy Pelosi. Just saying.
Oh boy, that's even worse. That's even worse. But the image of her trying to hit anybody, I guess that's just too much for me. I will tell you though, maybe it's the high energy premium ice cream that she thinks she's going to get all the strength from. Maybe I don't know what it is. The fact is though, Tony, you were there, and this is what people don't realize. You want to talk about mostly peaceful protests? January 6th really was that. Nobody was burning anything down. There were a lot of
it was like a carnival. Everybody was very good natured. People were selling things. Vendors were there. People sat there and listened to the speech, rah, rah, rah. And everybody was in a very good frame of mind. There was no animosity. I mean, Cherie, you've been on stage. Things have been thrown at you. Nancy, Jen, I'm sure you've all had similar experiences. You can feel the energy of a crowd. You know what's about to come. None of that existed in this crowd. It was all very good natured. Nobody would have thrown a gerbil for lots of bad metaphors.
That's the wrong protest.
I actually have friends that were there.
There you go.
My very best friend was there. She said,
yeah, right there.
Calm. She saw Ray Epps, said he orchestrated the whole thing, and she thought it sounded like a bad idea to go to Capitol. So she went home, but by gum, she had a knock on her door a day or two later from the FBI.
Wow.
Investigating her.
I have to ask, though, who thought it would be a good idea and it would help the Democrats to release this video anyway of Nancy Pelosi screeching about punching somebody, punching the president? You ain't gonna punch him right now. It's like watching an old episode of HR Puffin Stuff where Witchy Poo starts getting angry. And,
I don't think
get that Jamie and Puffin Stuff.
Well,
I don't think they think it's a bad idea.
Behind the schoolhouse, remember that, the old geezer.
I don't think they think it's a bad idea.
No, they don't.
Everything they put out garbage every day.
Well, first, the January 6th committee hearings have been stretched out for so long. The idea was supposed to be a big commercial for the Democrat Party,
of course,
during the midterms, but it's really backfiring on them terribly.
Well, backfiring to who though? I mean, do you think any Dems or anyone that sits on that side is saying, "Oh, this is a joke"? Well, they're so blind.
Well,
yeah,
they're cheering it on and thinking that most of the public is really eating this up. The fact is, we're asking about people in the middle, and I believe people on the farther right and the farther left do not understand that people in the middle are sick and tired of their dung. Okay, right. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody who cares about putting food on the table wants to hear the January 6th committee arrest grandmas and grandpas and put the picture of the guy with the horns up, or no one wants to hear Liz Cheney talk about how much she hates the Republicans now because they've all turned their back on her for being, for doing what she's doing. And the other guy, Kinzinger, right?
Adam Kinzinger.
Yeah,
I've met that. I've met Adam, by the way. He's lacking certain chemicals. Testosterone.
Oh boy.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody, every American, they're sick and tired of the January 6th thing. Maybe some of them don't see how hypocritical it is, since we have the summer of love where nobody got arrested and they were
Right.
killing people. Every person that lives in this country should be terrified, because this is what Obama put into law, that if you're suspected of, quote, domestic terrorism, which is defined by whoever wants to define it, they can lock you up, throw away the key, no due process. This is going completely against the Constitution. I don't know that people realize how much these people that have been in prison have been violated, and that it can happen to you.
Right.
And they intend for it to happen to you. Even like Alex Jones. Okay, say what you will about him. Yeah, he's pretty laughable. But they're going after you next for whatever you say online.
I'm going to say he did something very wrong, but that was an excessive punishment. It's nearly $1 billion. The idea was to humiliate and bankrupt the guy.
Yes.
He owes what he owes, and he should pay for what he did, because look, I've been a broadcast journalist for a long time. You have to double check your sources. You can't just have somebody hand you a piece of paper when you're doing a talk show and read it.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens on The View. That's a different
We
story.
live in an excessive world,
With
Chris.
impunity.
Everything is excessive. And the thing that I just can't seem to shake is I'm really thinking to myself, I mean, are these politicians and these elitists, are they stupid? I mean, do they think that we are going to sit and let them destroy our lives in this world? I mean, do they honestly think they can get away with it? Because
Yes.
I think they're like serial killers that become complacent. They've just gotten too comfortable in their thinking that in their leadership or lack thereof. But if I were them, talk about Susan saying this is horrifying, I would be shaking, but they're not. And the thing is that honest to God, I believe with my heart and soul that these people, they're right on the edge, because they are not safe. These
I
leaders
hope
are
not.
not safe.
I think that they think they can get away with it because so
Yes.
far they've been proven that they
Yes.
can.
Well,
They look at Hillary
We
walking
are
through and go,
allowed,
we're fine.
we the people are allowing them to get away with every move they've made.
That's what I just said in the last thing there, with that we were allowing them to do that. I
That's
totally
right.
agree with you. I totally agree.
We're allowing them until we won't. And but the
Right.
thing is they've pushed us all, and everything is so extreme that we have no choice but to rise to the occasion now, because they are pushing, they're removing our liberties, they're removing our freedoms. And I'm telling you right now, these people are playing with the end for them.
I don't
know,
think they
because-
care. I don't think they care.
Well, they're gonna care. They're gonna
I
care.
hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
I mean, because can you imagine millions of people just coming in and just removing these? I mean, do you know really how easy that would be? I don't
I would
think
love
they
it.
really realize how easy it would be.
It's going to happen.
Well,
It's going to
they're
happen.
drilling,
But I think
Sue.
that's what they want as well. They want that. They want that great.
Well, I hope they do, because
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah.
get it. They're going to get it, because there's no other choice, Jennie.
No, there
You
isn't.
put us in a position where there's no other choice.
I agree.
Because we need to survive, and the way we're not living at the moment. We're not even, no one's thriving. We're just about struggling to survive, and they're
Yeah, they
pushing.
kill our kids.
But what I will say to this is, look how quick everything is happening now, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
quickness, that rushing quickness, speaks volumes to someone like myself, and usually anybody else that's awake. Is what's happening? Why is it so quick? It's quick because they are in fear.
Yeah.
They know that they're losing it. They're trying to grab every last thing that they can have, because they know now that we know. They have inadvertently woken up the masses with their arrogance and their out of touchness with us, because they're out of touch with the people. And so their arrogance and their ridiculous symbolism is going to be their downfall.
Well, what they
And-
do have, and I just want to add this in, what they do have is the media, though. They have an army of so-called fact checkers
Exactly.
that will jump on you. Tony, we talked about this recently. As soon as PayPal, this is funny. PayPal decided to charge $2,500 for what essentially would be wrongthink,
Mhm.
misinformation by their standards, and you know how that works. The backlash came really
And-
fast, but the idea was they wanted to see how far we'd go. The other thing, and I wanted to mention this, I always ask, where do the fact checkers go? Where are the fact checkers when Joe Biden talks about how great the economy is? I'll tell you where they are. The fact checkers were covering for PayPal. If you go around, if a quick Google search would show you, oh, did PayPal really want to charge $2,500 for misinformation? They're trying to say no, but the fact is they did try to pull this off, and the idea is big tech is trying to manipulate the rest of us into thinking that wasn't true. We have a memory, and we're going to keep reminding people right and left what really happened and what's going on.
Well, Chris, don't
And
you
it's hard.
understand? Don't you understand that Joe Biden, his hairy legs, along with Corn Pop, attended every single Jewish Passover, every single Puerto Rican meeting? He was there with Nelson Mandela fighting
Yeah.
against the South apartheid. I mean, and then he stormed the beaches in Vietnam when he got his appointment to the U.S. Army Academy or the Navy Academy. I think it was both. I think he's the only man in the universe to ever be appointed simultaneously to the Air Force Academy, the Navy Academy, and the Army Academy. So
Oh.
don't question, please. I mean, let's just not do that here, okay?
Oh,
This is a Joe Biden safe zone. Let Joe alone. Seriously. I mean,
Oh.
I cannot even believe we're having this conversation.
He's a busy guy and graduating
no,
tops in his law
Tony,
class.
remember.
I mean, come on.
I have 2 words for you, Tony. Made in America, baby.
Oh gosh,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the lips of Biden.
the Twitter backlash is coming. There we
2
go.
words for you, made in America, for
Oh,
crying out
boy.
loud. How goofy.
Oh.
I should start doing something like this with as Johnny Carson and Karnak with with the answer, yeah, like what is it, well, it was like sin bad, and you open it up, summarize the Bible.
Oh, that's bad. I like that.
What do they expect? Do they really think that they're safe? I mean, do these people really think that they're protected, that we as the people can't infiltrate and take their ill-begotten gains and toss them in Shawshank? I mean, honestly, do these people think that they could continue doing this without?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Agree.
Absolutely.
do.
That's-
Really
Absolutely.
They're using your taxpayer money and my taxpayer money. It gets washed through Congress. That's the first washing. It gets appropriated, and then they start giving out to all these left-wing causes like the global warming. Who thinks that Podesta, who's a politician, is going to use any of that billion-dollar fund to actually do anything for the environment? Who actually thinks that? Who actually thinks this $40 billion is going to Ukraine is going to go to Ukraine, if you know what I mean?
These are the same people that thought Soliandra was going to do something for climate change back in
So
the
they
Obama
use
era.
our own money against us by funding their own causes. And to Jen's
But you
point,
say they, though, Tony. You say they.
well,
Who are they? I mean, are
Congress.
they that little? Are
Everybody
they
in
this little
Washington.
group of
Yeah.
people?
That's their pronoun.
Congress.
Everybody that went to Ukraine to prepare plates for their money.
That's it, Susan. You're on it. She's on it. No, she's right.
She
I mean,
absolutely is.
are they this group?
I
of
think it is
people?
them. Yeah,
That's just a
And-
few of
and-
them, Cherie.
and-
Thyroid eyes,
they're
man.
pulling the
These
strings.
people
Oh, shit.
could fit on the bottom floor of the Whiskey a Go-Go. And I'm telling you, there's very few of them, and there are millions and millions of them.
But that's
Easy.
the whole point. If there's millions and millions of us,
And there is. 55
there
million.
is, but what's being done to stop this?
Uh-huh.
Nothing. What's being done to stop this by the millions of us?
Well,
They're
that's
just trying to stop
We've
us
got to start.
by censoring
We've got
us.
to
We
start.
need to-
Yeah.
we need to
You
keep
know,
pushing.
we'll take as much as
Resist.
we can take. We're resilient people. We're friggin' Americans. Sorry, Jen.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we're
But we-
Americans.
but
And you
you're-
know what? We're the
But
last
we start out
generation.
as Brits.
Our parents our fathers fought in World War II. You know, I mean,
Right.
we come
Greatest
from a
generation.
generation
generation.
where the last generation, and there's something embedded in us that's not going to let this continue. And I'm just, a middle-aged chainsaw chick in the valley, okay? But the thing is I've had enough. And for me to have enough, I just sense this vibration, around me. You know what that feeling in your stomach
Mhm.
where it's just like butterflies all the time, like something it's a vibration, and it's all of these people that are.
Many people are saying the same thing, Cherie. Many people are saying that they sense something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we can say plenty, but something has to be done. We
But
can talk and we're ranting on Facebook and
Well,
we're all
January
pissed.
6th kind of start. I mean, look, I actually applauded it because
Me
these
too.
leaders were pushing for these riots, and they didn't care how scared we were. I mean,
No.
my car was stopped by these rioters, and they made me, honk for Black Lives Matter. And you know what? I was so angry that they were saying, oh, they're not going to stop, and they shouldn't stop, and they're stoking it, and they're bailing them out, and Kamala Harris, here's it, and then all of a sudden it comes to their doorstep, and they freak out like this. It's
Yeah.
like, well, now you know how we feel, and that's why I was applauding. Susan was not too happy with me, but I was like, yes, because I wanted them to feel that fear that they were putting us through. And look at what pussies they are, man.
Well, this is
You
about.
know,
Well, I was applauding it too. I just think that, they want an insurrection. We should show them what it really
Well,
looks
why are they different? Why are they different? Why are they held to a different
because they're
standard?
elites.
Because we
That's
allow
what-
them
that's
to
the
be.
essence
We
of
voted
them.
them in. They
That's
can
right.
be removed.
Well,
and we
No,
can
that's where I
paychecks.
disagree, Cherie. Cherie, you could not have voted these people in. They were selected. They never ever voted in. They're always selected by the shadow government, whatever you want to call them. We've got this person called Liz Truss in our place. Exact same process. She was selected in, and I'm telling you now, that's the way Boris got in. That's the way all the others have got in, and you're going to find out very soon that all the other ones that you had prior to Biden, they were all illegitimate, all of them.
Interesting.
Well,
The point.
what?
Interesting point that you bring this up. You bring this up, Jenny, because in America, at least over the last 25, maybe 35 years, no presidential candidate here would be allowed to become a front runner without heavy media scrutiny unless they were hand stamped by the Council on Foreign Relations. Almost every election cycle, you'd hear this candidate met with the Council on Foreign Relations today. This candidate met with the Council on Foreign Relations today, no matter which party they're from. But the idea is they have to talk to these people and they have to get the hand stamped approval. There was only one guy who didn't get that, who made it to the presidency, and where all hell broke loose for that one. But this is a
look,
problem
Trump was not supposed to win. Trump was not supposed to win.
Right.
This is a problem for
right.
everybody here.
And,
thought, my
just, I mean,
gosh,
for the
elections
audience to know, I can't talk about who we were talking to, but Jenny and I were on a call earlier today where we talked about an event I attended in England where I actually spoke up before Trump was elected and said, Trump is going to be our Brexit. And I was booed by the folks. I was right, but I was booed. And a lot of folks felt it was predestined that Hillary Clinton was going to be the president. And a lot of people did not want to think otherwise.
Yes.
And I'm not even, that's not even a political statement. I'm saying I analyzed based on my knowledge of what was going to go on. Brexit had just happened. I felt that the mood was very similar here in the United States, is that Trump was going to win. And that was, oh my God, it's like, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And I'm sorry if that observation offends you, but people are offended by people simply having a strong opinion.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
true.
I think if Antifa would have been the ones that were storming that Capitol, I don't think anyone would have survived it. Or they would have been really
I agree.
serious trouble. I mean, these Americans, they went in, a lot of them were just, I'm sorry, but we're Republicans, that's why I think Pelosi, I mean, it was an idea that Pelosi didn't ask for the guard because she knows that we're not violent. Conservatives are not violent people, not like the left. And that's what I thought. Maybe that was the reason why she turned down the National Guard.
Mm,
The only
they
people
had
who
to
were
sync their
violent that
stories
day.
too.
No, I
Yes.
don't think I think she had an agenda.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
that
agree.
Pelosi is a bloody agenda.
Well, keep
And
in
an
mind they
All
had
of
to
it, to be
they had
honest.
to they had
Sorry,
to
that's what I see.
they had to sync their stories too. Don't forget, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez felt threatened an hour before anybody supposedly stormed in there, and she felt threatened. She had to hide out too. It basically the idea was to get the media attention, make one side look bad, even
Right.
though that same media covered up for the other side. They don't like protesters coming to their front door, and they don't like illegal immigrants coming to their front door either, as we saw in Martha's Vineyard. I have to
Right.
ask though, ladies and gentlemen here with me with Culture Wars The Insurgency. By the way, before I ask this question, if you're enjoying what we're doing, hit the big red button to subscribe to us on YouTube here on Thought to Action, or if you're watching us on Rumble, hit that big blue button. It's different colors there. That's how they do these things. If you're
But hit the
listening to
button.
us,
Hit the
yes.
buttons.
And if you're listening to us on a podcast, subscribe to us there. Leave a review. Tell us how we're doing. I know. However, I have to ask this question.
Right. But Chris, hold on a second. If you don't hit the buttons, you're jeopardizing democracy. Just saying. If you don't do it,
you're a
literally
threat to
jeopardizing-
democracy.
You are jeopardizing our democracy.
You're a threat to democracy.
Don't say our democracy.
Sorry.
That's right.
We
I
don't have a
forgot.
democracy.
All right. I have to ask, in wake of all this, all the busing and everything of the illegals up to sanctuary cities and sanctuary states now, where did all the illegal immigrants go? And even the undocumented immigrants? They all seem to have been replaced by, if you've been listening to the newscasts and watching television recently, all these asylum seekers. You can't tell me every single person being coyoted from Mexico or from Central America into the U.S. here are seeking asylum.
No,
That's
none of them are.
statistically impossible.
They're seeking a better life. They're seeking what every illegal alien has been seeking.
Right.
It's just that now they're getting a welcome mat.
Well, the thing is, if you're voting,
pedophiles are minor attracted persons too. You
Right,
know, this
exactly.
kind of work is just a waste of our time, and it's infuriating. You
But
know,
if-
minor attracted person, so that makes it okay that you want to have sex with little children, and they said no. I mean, we got to take pedophile is not a good. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
they're
it's
trying to
insane.
That's the
They're trying
point.
to
They want
rebrand
you
it.
to be disgusted. They want to destroy all that's good
Mhm.
to make us
Mhm.
miserable so that we'll accept any form of law and order they can give us.
Well, when it comes to the children, no one's going to accept that. I'm sorry. Nobody's
Yeah.
accepting that sort of behavior. I'd say, I mean, even hardened criminals in the bloody jail, they will not accept someone being
Right.
and they
Right.
won't.
Yeah.
I mean, what does
But
that
they're
tell
still
you?
trying to poison our kids, and people are not reacting to that the way they should. I mean, come on.
I know. It's true.
Marvel teaming up with Pfizer to tell the children that they need this clot shot.
Yeah, but it's not. It's but and also, Susan, the way they're infiltrating the system. We've seen the latest thing they're doing. Marvel Comics, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, okay, you're a hero if you take the vaccine.
Oh, wait.
So they're using the children's, they're using the young people's. You know what I mean?
I have one.
Their brains.
I have one for you. In New York, I love watching Jeopardy in New York here. It's one of my favorite shows, okay? For a while, the New York City Department of Health was, and I think it was them, they were they were putting out these commercials where you take the vaccine, and they had the Statue of Liberty with this grossly elongated arm holding up a vax card with masks on with a mask on the Statue of Liberty. That was one series. Another series of commercials were little children, I believe 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, wearing superhero costumes, and the narrator was saying, "Be a vaccine hero. Get your vax
That's
today."
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
it.
trying to
And
use
that's
the
in allegiance with Marvel, and Marvel's
Yes.
easy to boycott.
But you know what? By the time we've ended this thing, because I honestly believe it's going to end, and I honestly believe it's going to end by not everything's going to end, but the things that we fear the most, like our children being indoctrinated in the way that they are, is going to end by the end of this year. I just know it. I just feel it, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
we talk
you're right.
about anger. We talk about anger. You guys are pretty happy. You ladies seem pretty happy. And I think I know why.
Our kids are growing.
Because we have knowledge is power. That's why we know what's coming.
I think
Do I have
Tony
to get
knows
off
what's
the
coming.
call before this comes up?
Tony knows what's coming.
I actually don't, but I'm curious.
The American Family Survey. Liberal women are the demographic who are the most upset about their own mental health and lives.
They should be.
It's if you've been reading the Huffington Post over the last 7 or 8 years, I believe we didn't even need any kind of survey or kind of study to show us
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, can I say something as a guy? I mean,
Yeah.
Just for our audience to know, I love these ladies because we're always cutting up behind the scenes and talking to each other about stuff, right? I mean,
Yes.
we do. And it's like we talk about serious stuff and we acknowledge that we're in dire straits, but at least we have a sense of humor about it and we can laugh at ourselves. And I
And we're
think
all guy chicks.
exactly. So just for your let me tell everybody a secret. These are the cool kids back in high school. So they're all smarter now. So and that's why they're happy warriors. I mean, it's like, yeah, things are bad.
We
but
actually we
need
weren't
to do
the cool kids in high school, to be honest.
You
I
were
wasn't.
a cool kid. Come on, you painted your face and you stood up to the tough kid. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Look,
now
I was the same way. I was
we were
the
rebels.
cool kids. To me,
Yep.
Cherie, the cool kids were the ones who wouldn't go along, didn't want to be all compliancy and go along and be all whatever the big thing in was. I don't think we were ever in the in crowd. Being
No.
cool and being in are two very different things. Just saying.
But we knew the difference between right and wrong, and we didn't abuse people. You know,
Right.
we stood up for the kids that wore glasses that were thrown in the
Right.
trash cans in school.
I love those. Yeah. I
Oh,
would.
yeah.
I was like you. I would defend if I saw one of those guys being like, no, you need to leave them alone. I mean, Jesus.
And that's born into us, Tony. I mean, this is not something that it's born into your soul. It's who you
Yeah.
are from the moment you're born, and that's why we're all here today,
Right.
having this conversation about what is coming like a freight train right at us.
Yep.
And how
Right.
are we going to deal with? Yeah, and because honest to God, I mean, I never in my wildest dreams, and listen, I was not a fan of Bush. I voted for Obama. I was just so sad that I did that just 2 weeks into his presidency.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Me too.
political, but I'll tell you,
Well,
what's happening now is something I never thought we would ever see.
Not to this degree. No.
No.
I thought it would take another 20 years.
Yeah, I did. I didn't think it would be this fast.
Yeah.
Oh, they were trying to make it happen by 2021. Remember
Well,
that.
Well,
This is
yeah,
all
the
in-
agenda.
Oh yeah.
2021, exactly. But it was Obama. I truly believe Obama's ego would not allow it to happen because he did not want to be the president that would be known as the president that destroyed the United States or this one world order. His ego stopped him. But Hillary was like,
Cherie, the guy who started the one world order nonsense
It
was
was Bush.
H.W. Bush,
Bush,
41.
There were two
Yeah.
people. There were two.
Yeah.
Bush crime family.
George
Yeah.
H.W. Bush, but the first official spokesman for the World Economic Forum outside of their little circle. And you know this person very well, Jennie. He is now the king.
Mhm.
Oh, him.
Prince
right.
Charles. Prince Charles
Charles.
was on
You know,
board
no,
with
no,
this
no,
in
actually, he's not, though.
1988. He was a big time.
Chris, he's not the king. And
he's not-
I wager, in fact, I am definitely going to put some money on the bookies because that guy will never be king. They're already prepping his death in the UK. Did you know that? They're
what?
already prepping his death. Yes. Whenever you know someone's going to die, when you see it all over the front cover of the newspapers. And, I hate to talk Nostradamus here, but an awful lot of people are talking about that as well. Because if one is to believe the quatrains of Nostradamus, then one is to kind of take into consideration that this was all happening. The Queen was going to die when she did, and then he said it apparently. And the king would actually not be king it would not be king, and the son or one of the sons would take over, but it would be a son that wasn't expected. So they're thinking it's going to be William. I don't even think it's going to be William. I personally think that the monarchy is going to be defunct, especially when they find out what they've done, because it's all coming into play. It's all coming into play at the moment. It's all over the news. And everybody's bringing up the tyranny of the royal family going back centuries.
Oh, wow.
And it's all coming into play. But the biggest thing coming into play is that Prince Charles, Prince Charles actually, or the merely King Charles is going to die. They've actually said it.
Well,
I'll send you some stuff.
Diana wanted
Right.
to abdicate.
Now, if you're all watching or listening to this program and you hear a knock coming out of or from behind Jennie's door, that's the police. That's the British police coming in to arrest her for wrong think on the internet.
That's right.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Jennie, have you seen that movie called Brazil?
Yes, I have. Yes, I
That's
have.
it.
I think of that daily.
I don't want that to happen to you. Just saying.
No, thanks. No, thanks.
But this
Thank
is
you.
bad. But did you all hear? Oh gosh, I always forget her last name. Jacinda, the Prime Minister of
Yeah,
New
I know.
Zealand, speaking
By
in
the
front
way,
of
do
the
you know
UN.
that's a man, don't you? You know that's a man, don't you?
Build back.
I don't even
one?
care what she is or whatever
That was a hit.
its pronouns are. It's very important that she actually spoke in front of the UN and determined that free speech was a weapon of war. And
Right.
that's something that is a World Economic Forum centerpiece, the idea that free societies are a detriment to their plans. And that's why America and Britain, at least where it is right now, and try to go back to becoming one, but that's why it's very important to defend our free society.
Right. Well, Cherie
That's
is
not a
talking.
very popular thing to say right now.
Well,
I'm telling
exactly.
you.
No.
Knock on my door now.
When I say they're stupid, they're really stupid. They're
Yeah.
stupid because
Well-
they're asking for it because people are really fed up with being locked down for 2 years, fed up with this incredibly destructive economy, these people throwing money around, or the fact you can't heat your home. Germany is just a mess, and people are going to have to make a choice of whether they freeze to death or whether they can eat. And they're thinking that they can just say something like that. These are the people that I'm going to be applauding when they're taken down. Because, and this is, again, just a girl from the San Fernando Valley, just hoping and praying. But I will be rooting when they take people like that out to task. Throw them in the cornfield.
A girl with a
And they're allies.
chainsaw.
Jeremy would
And
say,
they're
"Wish
allies."
me in the cornfield, all of them."
Yeah.
Cherie, so you were talking about maybe you could use your chainsaw on Nicole Kidman and the insects, or did I misinterpret that?
Ooh.
Oh, by the way, I
Oh,
reached
I'm
out
sorry. It wasn't the chainsaw. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but I reached out to a wonderful friend of mine who's a top PR guy today. And he really didn't even, he goes, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And I'm not going to say his name, but he knows people and he's going to find out how much he was paid for that.
Oh, that's right.
I'd love to
That'd be good.
I'd
That'd be
love
good
to
to
know
know.
that.
He watched it. And of course, time, I think, oh my gosh.
It was a Vanity
he
Fair
said
thing,
that-
right?
that she was probably paid
Oh.
between 50 to 100,000. I said, those were live. There's no way. There's no way that we're talking millions. But what I'd really like to know is how they approached her and what they said.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to ask someone like Nicole Kidman to eat live bugs in an elegant gown, with chopsticks and try to make it cool, why? It's almost like, eat horse apples. They're really good for you, it's like, what did
I'm
they say to her?
I'm sure they told her it was something that was very good for us. That she would be doing she would be
But it
doing
doesn't-
humanity a favor by making it cool. Because we're all going to have to eat these bugs.
I have an
I'm
alternate
sure she
theory
thought
for
she
you.
was doing the right thing.
Here's an alternate theory. She was the kid in the playground
Vanity
where
Fair,
you
by the way. Vanity Fair, sorry.
yeah, it's
Vanity
it's Vanity Fair. But Nicole Kidman probably was the kid in the playground who would sit around and maybe a couple of other children would say, "Hey, Nicole, if I give you $1, will you eat this worm? Or if I give you $2, will you eat this bug?" And she would. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe somebody came to her and said, "Hey, Nicole, if I give you $50,000."
There's more
Sure.
money than God. She didn't need the money. That's the thing. She didn't need the money to sit and do that.
She did
any
the
common
right
sense
thing.
tells you that.
There's
Huh?
no knock on your door, Jennie.
No, the battery was going. The
I'm just gonna say they
had
came
to
and
go-
got Jenny.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Jen's gone.
Yeah. No, you know what I would say about Nicole Kidman and all the others that have come out since? I think they're all compromised. And I think they've all sold their souls. They're part of Hollywood. They've all sold their souls. And one of the things that they've got to do, because they're all pawns. They're all pawns being used in order to be able to promote an agenda, by those that would otherwise have us all enslaved. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
think
they're on the Epstein
I really
list.
don't.
But I do think that they're vapid enough that you can appeal to their vanity and say you're really going to do humanity a favor. I'm sure these people that came out and said, spoke horribly about the unvaccinated, really felt like they were righteous. And, I'm willing to take one for the team. And, it's all vainglorious and appealing to their egos. And if they did any research, they'd know that they were wrong. But
Well, the whole idea, Susan, that they kept telling people, oh, you want to be polite to others by getting vaccinated is like, what? It's like, if I get vaccinated, theoretically, it protects me from others. So why do you care if I don't want to be protected from others? Oh, well, you're not being a good citizen. Why not? Because
Well-
I don't want to be protected. That's insane. I mean,
And I knew, because I was listening to all the guys that, thank God I have a brain that knows who to trust. I knew that the opposite was true. I knew that the vaccinated were shedding spike
Right.
protein.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
told my cousin, look, you're the one who's dangerous to me. But I
Exactly.
was still exiled from holiday
so-
things, and I'm fine with that.
So, Susan, you know this. Susan, this was gene therapy, not a vaccine.
Exactly. And I know what it did to the Blackfoot ferrets because I'm an animal person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's the thing. It's like, but
Same
this, the fundamental premise that this was a vaccine was never true. It was never true.
That's right. It's a lie.
And like I've asked friends of mine, I said, well, did you read the package insert?
Mhm.
No, I didn't.
Well, they
No,
just
no,
came
you
out
did,
and
because
admitted
it's
that there were
standard.
no human trials, Susan. They just
No,
admitted
the
it. No
package
human
insert
trials.
is a big
Warrant,
blank
but
piece of paper.
what I don't understand is why people aren't just losing their over
See,
that.
that's just it. I was listening last night to 3 hours of what has happened to people that died immediately from the vaccine. I'm not talking about the people that took months. And I'm like, the parents of the children don't die in their sleep. These kids did.
Mhm.
These parents, why aren't they livid? Why aren't they going, you are not telling me one more thing to do? This is, see, the silver lining in this to me is this is the one thing that could get us to get together. We're so polarized, but the vaccine killed every political person. It didn't discriminate.
They're also talking that when they go to cremate a body or do embalm, I'm sorry, that they're finding strings and they don't know what they are,
Mhm.
strings in the
It's a
veins.
protein, yeah.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah, yeah.
protein. It's not blood clots. It's a form of
No.
protein that
On
is
everybody who's
perhaps a
gotten the
spike
vax.
protein derivative.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
people that have gotten the vax. That's what they're finding when they open them up.
They're also emitting
Oh,
signals.
Yes, that's
Hitting
right.
signal.
Yeah, Bluetooth signals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you see
G5.
that video behind a TSA agent at the airport where there's actually a little
Yes.
glow, little like in the arm, and that's how they could tell you've been vaccinated because it's emitting through a X-ray type of a machine. And I mean, how do you fake that? I mean, that's real. I mean, this
And-
person's
and-
standing
and
at the airport videotaping these people when they've got a little like light,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
and
don't get
how you-
anybody who made the decision to get it. I get the fear. I can get there. You were afraid, blah, blah, blah. But I don't get that if just logically it being so brand new, you know
Yeah.
nothing about it. You cannot legally sue anybody if something
Right.
happens to you. I don't get why you are willing to be an effing lab rat,
Or why you think that the government gives a shit about
or that you trust the
Right.
government. If the
Right.
government
Right.
puts it out, I'm running the other way. I know
Exactly.
that's
And
how I
they're
feel.
so emphatic.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
like having dinner with a Nazi and he's going, you haven't touched your strudel. It's your strudel.
We
Now,
have ways of making you
now
talk.
you know there's something wrong with the strudel. And to me, the way they are pushing this, it's like, well, now I'm starting to believe in the nanobots and the self-assembling blah, blah, blah that corresponds with G5. Okay, I'm really staying clear.
Yeah. Jen sent me something this morning, and I had already been looking into the food part of things. But what Jen sent me this morning, I absolutely believe that they're going to try and get the jab into us one way or another. And food is another way by injecting the animals.
So,
Yeah.
so let me, so Nancy, let me be clear on this. There's absolutely no technical, no scientific, no weather-related reason for not having enough food for everybody on the planet. With modern techniques,
Right.
without having to do artificial, like all the different gene stuff, you don't have to do that. You can just honestly plant, fertilize. But right now, the World Economic Forum, as you guys know, are trying to go after the farmers in Australia by saying that nitrogen is a chemical, much
That's
like
the new
CO2.
kick. That's right.
And they're trying to regulate the basic chemical elements of life to say,
That's right.
they're hazardous and you can't use them. So they're trying to prompt this reduction in availability of food. So then what's left, they can put conditions on, if you want this food, you've got to do X. That's what they're doing. That's the
Yeah.
plan.
Well, the
And
idea is to
Monsanto with the seeds.
the idea
You
is to
can't have
create
seed crops.
the idea is to create a food shortage. And you saw
right.
what happened. You saw what happened in Sri Lanka. That's that's just a microcosm of what they want to happen here at the World Economic Forum.
And I always have felt if you screw with people's money and food, you are going to have some
And
real
kids.
issues. The people
kids,
are going
yep.
to react to that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They will react to that. Don't fuck with. Sorry. Don't screw with my
We're
money.
among friends here,
It's
Nancy.
okay.
It's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. We're all
do
friends.
not screw with my food or my ability for my grandchildren to eat. You start doing this kind of shit, and not only that, but
And don't groom my kid. Don't groom my
That's the
grandchild.
one.
exactly.
That's the one, Cherie.
Yeah, my
That's right.
grandchild for sex. I mean,
That's
these
right.
are sick
And-
MFs, man.
And
Sick.
livelihood and my livelihood. You keep that in mind too. While the Netherlands was asking farmers or telling farmers, not asking, telling them not to farm, or some of them not
Right.
to farm, all because nitrogen, the new kick. That's right. Nitrogen is bad for you. You know how bad this green movement? I'll tell you how bad this green movement is really stepping on itself and making itself look silly. Even Greta is saying that Greta chick is saying that we should keep the nuclear power plants that they have in Germany, and the Green Movement doesn't like that. So let's see when.
Chris, did you
when they
see those
cancel her.
pictures of Greta coming out of the water after she bombed Nord Stream 2? There's a picture of her.
I saw those.
I don't know if that's true or not. It's like I suspect her. I just personally believe that it could have been her.
I didn't see anything.
What do I know?
That's funny. Well, she just wanted to come out of there and say, "How dare you all blame me?"
Poor girl.
But
They
she
just
did
took
come.
a whole bunch of oranges in Australia or New Zealand. I mean, just like
The Green Movement.
trained
The
So-
Green Movement doesn't care
full
about
of
clean
oranges.
energy. It just
No.
doesn't. If you're not going to consider nuclear power
I don't
plants
know if
as
you've all
clean,
been. Well, I don't know if you've all been to New Zealand. I love New Zealand. I spent some time there. The North Island, South Island. They filmed Xena the Warrior Prince. One of my great professional little events was when I was on a New Zealand Air Force, New Zealand Defense Force C-12, and they did a combat landing on the set of Xena Warrior Prince, just right in there. Fortunately, nobody was filming, thank God, so they didn't run anybody. But they did this combat landing in the middle of that. But my point being is that New Zealand is a beautiful place, and they're bound and determined to do things to completely ruin it and turn it into a complete trash heap. And that's why they're trying to do the destruction of it. It's just
Who is
horrible
they?
what they're doing.
Who's
Well,
they, Tony?
The progressive class. It's the progressives led by, what's her name, Chris? Lucinda.
Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern is her
Ardern.
name. Yes.
So they're taking this paradise and trying to turn it into this concentration camp where you can't use nitrogen. Nitrogen's a banned chemical. They believe CO2 is somehow bad, even though CO2 leads to growth and plant development. It's all these completely insane myths that the state, Lucinda, Wicked Witch of the West, she looks like what's her name from Wizard of Oz, doesn't she? She has kind of that. She just has to be green.
Stop saying she's a bloke. She's a bloke.
But that's my
She's a
point.
bloke.
It's like trying to destroy.
There goes that knock on Jenny's door again.
I'm getting my crystals. My crystals.
there you go. You need
I've been on the computer too long. Sorry.
Jacinda Ardern is a phenomenon because she became famous by yapping off about wearing masks and following all the COVID rules as much. Our country, my country is so free of COVID because your country is free of COVID because it's surrounded by miles upon miles of water. And you have migration policies that are much stricter than ours, mind you. Okay, the idea is she wanted everybody. She became a big star by being young, pretty by World Economic Forum standards, and somebody who was camera ready as a spokesman for them.
I wouldn't use the word pretty.
Well, remember, by World Economic Forum standards. In America, as you said, Nancy Pelosi is the hot babe of the Democrats.
Yeah.
So the hot babe of the world. Yeah. So Jacinda Ardern by default becomes the hot babe of the World Economic Forum. Okay, that's just.
Well, she's better than Klaus Schwab. I'll say that.
Dr. Evil. The man looks like a Bond villain. I'm sorry. He is a Bond villain. Yeah.
No, there's no look about it. He is.
And his sidekick is even worse.
I thought you meant George Soros.
Oh God! Don't even go down.
George looks like Emperor Palpatine.
He's Emperor Palpatine, and Klaus Schwab is Dr. Evil. There we go.
Yeah.
There. And he is trying to hold the world.
Photoshopped him as that.
So what's the solution?
Well, that's the thing. We're going to have to keep reminding people. We have to stay on air here and just tell them, hey, you're not alone. If you're not crazy, if you think these people are trying to manipulate you and gaslight you. There is a program that Tony recently did with a gentleman named Dan Scheide. He's a leadership expert, but he wrote a book of extensive research. Maybe we'll pull him in here in one of our future shows again. It's called American Gaslighting: How America has been systematically taught to hate itself. Yep. And the idea is, this is a guy from the outside looking in. Reading about and studying decades upon decades of manipulation, generations to this point where we have kids who are coming out of college hating their parents, hating the country, thinking Columbus is the most evil person that ever set foot on a boat or anywhere in the world. Look, he took those 4 ships to America. 3 of them came to America. The other one fell off the edge of the earth. But he took those 3 ships to America. The man actually he got in trouble in Spain for prosecuting child sex traffickers. Maybe that's why the left doesn't like him, because he prosecuted child sex traffickers.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's where the hate comes from. But the fact is, there are a couple of generations still with kids coming out of colleges and the public education system doing their just inexplicably programmed to hate what a free society stands for.
Do you know what I think also is that people this group think, is so bad. Because we do have an instinct of what is real, what isn't real, whether we're being lied to, and people have to really ask themselves, listen to that, what's in your head, and don't ask people's opinions. Really, try to center yourself and ask, what is this? And is this wrong? I mean, to be honest, I believe that the answers will come and people will really realize how royally effed we are. And that these people that talk down to us and take our money and make us live in squalor, basically, that's their new thing. Because obviously with Biden, he doesn't seem to be in touch with how bad this is going to get. And
man's never held a real job.
He's not in touch with his proctologist.
Exactly. Oh my God, what a liar too. I mean, that guy lies like a flipping rug. I mean, it's just, why are they forgiving him? Why don't they hold any of these people to any type of standard? You know, do they have
Because
no
he's saying
morals?
their
themselves?
lies.
Who are the bigger morons? The people on social media who still think Joe Biden's doing a great job, or the people on social media who said pearls and chucks are the future of America? I mean,
Or they think that they haven't been vaccine injured. They're the same
Yeah.
people with that are actually, you know, like I'm sorry, my brother-in-law. I mean, he has had to get infusions every month for the last 13 years because he got the H1N1, and then my sister Sandy, who has
Well, and he got remdesivir too.
from the H1N1 vaccines, and they will not turn around and say I could be vaccine injured, but they won't do it. I mean, there's some kind of madness there.
Well, because
No,
the mind, the
Thank God
mind
I
won't,
got it.
the mind won't go where it can't go.
Well, that's where, you know, to your point, Nancy, we've got to slowly convince people to overcome their incorrect thinking and not blame them for being wrong, because I think so many people just don't want to think, oh my God, I've been wrong all this time, you
Right,
know?
right.
And
Yeah,
it's so
it's
tough to
like-
get them to wake up and think, oh my God, maybe I have, you know, and that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe we can all help them. It's like, it's not your fault. You were lied to, you know?
Exactly.
You know what?
Yeah,
And
you guys are doing the right thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
fear- and
exactly.
fear- And
No,
fear is a
exactly.
powerful drug. The people that got it, I had friends that were on the fence, seriously on the fence. They got it and they admit there's 3 of them that are very sorry they did.
Yeah.
They're fine, they think, but they're sorry they did now that all this information's out there. But the fear got to them, and fear is a powerful drug.
Yeah.
Is-
Oh, no
that's the
doubt.
one.
Very powerful drug.
No doubt.
I had to take
Just don't get boosted.
I had to take a couple of those doses and nothing happened to me. I had to take a couple of those doses and nothing happened to me.
Right.
I had to take a couple of those. Well, as I said before, nothing happened. I'm perfectly fine and stuff.
Chris, have you been vaccinated? No, have you actually been vaccinated? No, seriously. Has anybody here been vaccinated?
No.
I don't care if people do. It's just, I think you need to understand the potential downside and the record of side effects. That's all I say. It's like, you need to,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
be
I
aware.
don't care. I don't care who does either, except when it's my family. Then I
Exactly.
care because
Yeah.
I'm obviously, I love them and I care deeply what happens to them, but
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do. I've learned to very much just put that in a compartment that I have no control over. There's nothing I can do about it.
So
But back-
nobody here's been vaccinated.
No,
My little family,
we're not
Yeah.
doing that.
You went in
My-
our little group here.
I haven't. No.
But you have, Chris.
I'm going to plead the fifth on all that stuff. Okay.
No, I don't admit, I have never been, my family doesn't, my friends have not. It's just, and we're fine. And I was out doing an event one time and a 91-year-old guy walks up to me. He says, Colonel Shaffer, do you use any drugs? It's like, no. He says, good for you. I'm 91 and I don't touch the stuff. And the guy looked like he was 62. I mean, he looked amazing. He said, my secret is I don't use drugs. Don't let him ever give you anything. It's like, okay. And the guy looked great. I mean, it was amazing. So I just don't believe if you don't need something, then don't take it. You know,
Well,
it's like,
I
I'm
did
fine.
I got the J&J only because Bob, of course, my wonderful ex-husband, moved to Hawaii and Jake was doing these shows and I was the only one that could go and see him. But
Yeah.
I had the full-on COVID in February 11th, 2020 is when I got sick. And I knew I didn't need it. I didn't want that damn shot. But I went to Costco and I made them show me the vial. Because Susan, remember when I called you and
Yes.
and it was like J&J is the only real vaccine. There's no mRNA in that. And I
Yeah,
made
there
him show
is.
me the vial. And I'll tell you, I get so sick from vaccines. That's why I'm not a vaxxer myself. I mean, because I get just high fever within two hours. And I'm telling you, so I got all ready to get all sick. And it was like nothing. I got a placebo.
I was about to say, you probably got a placebo. You must have.
Good.
I was looking
Good
at something
thing.
today. I was looking at, there's a whistleblower from Pfizer, and she was also part of Project Veritas, you know, a project.
Veritas,
So,
yeah.
so you know,
Good
she's
guy.
not a pusher. So, and she was talking about the 3 strains with what you're talking about, and there is a placebo, but she was talking about the one where she actually, I don't know how she filmed it, but she filmed it, and there was one that's glowing, right? There's one that's glowing, and there's one that's clear. I think that's probably the one you had, which is very cool.
Yeah, it looked like water. Yeah.
Yeah, this one looked like water. And then there was another one that was kind of had a kind of swampy look to it. And I think those two were the dangerous ones. So you could have been well lucky there, actually, Cherie.
Well, my nephew got the J&J, and he was so sick. He and his fiance. And so honestly, because like I said, I've never had a vaccine that my body didn't hate. This was the first time. And I knew then, and also I knew I didn't need it because I'd had full-on COVID. I mean, like the kind that really killed
Bigly.
people. Yeah.
Vanilla COVID. It was horrible.
The question though was asked, what do we do? And the next thing is allow the free thinkers that are watching this video to know, hey, you're not alone. Okay. Spread the word. If you think something's amiss and you feel like you're going to be guilted into the current thing, or guilted into believing what you're being told by the media or whichever World Economic Forum representative out of whichever Western government is yapping off about something, of course, the New Zealand government, but I'll get into that. We've gotten into that before. But the idea is, if you're a free thinker and you think something's a bit wrong, yeah, you're not alone. And and spread the word. Talk to your friends. If they don't want, if they're afraid to talk to you, yeah.
And it's much cooler to be a rebel.
That's true. We're an insurgent. We're the insurgents in the culture wars.
Good.
Listen to your common sense, right?
Yeah.
Listen. You know what's right and you know what's wrong, and believe your eyes and your ears. Don't let them tell you that that what you see is not really what's happening.
Realize they're already trying to kill you. You can't trust them.
Right.
And let's turn the Great Reset into the Great Resist.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
The
great.
Great
I love that, Susan. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm a t-shirt designer.
And let's reset them, because I want these people punished.
Yeah,
I
I do
want
too.
these elitists punished, and where, talk about Eden for us is getting them out of the picture. I mean, and this is just a fact. They do nothing but destroy. What do they do?
Yeah.
I mean, their agenda is evil. It's an evil agenda. Depopulation in any way they can.
Control.
And like Gates, I'll tell
Control.
you, Bill Gates, he
He's the devil.
deserves to be hunted down.
He's the
mofo.
devil. Yeah, he's wars against. He's crimes against humanity to me.
Yeah.
They want to create the Morlocks.
Speaking of
That's what they want to
Oh
do.
yeah,
This guy's gotta
exactly.
go.
Yeah,
you
that
are-
was good. Yeah.
So, but remember,
Meaning Mangala
everybody,
has to go on trial.
Listen,
they always wrap this, and they're trying to just help us. And it always goes back to me to that great episode of The Twilight Zone, To Serve Man.
Yeah.
To Serve Man. It's a cookbook. They're trying to cook it.
so true. Perfect analogy. Oh my
I
God.
have to send you an essay, Chris. I wrote a sequel to that. To Serve
Oh,
Men
really?
Who Did.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
During
I
my
love sci-fi.
Campbell
I'm a big
TV
sci-fi
days.
guy. Yeah, Susan, I don't know if you know Jerry Doyle. Jerry and I were very close friends. Babylon 5. I love Jerry. Jerry and I were very close friends before it passed. So.
But you know what, though? To eat man, again, it was
Eat
written
man.
about words. About words.
That's better.
Oh, I missed it. No, I missed
I'm going to make that book.
Oh boy.
But it
Well,
was
as I
a
said-
play on words, right?
It was.
To serve men was a play on words, and that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. It's such a good
Exactly.
analogy.
Yes.
Oh, it's another good thing we talk about in 2022, because as you all know, this is the year that Soylent Green takes place.
So
Right.
that's right.
Oh my
right.
gosh.
That's another great movie. Yeah.
That's right,
Oh,
2022.
They
Robinson
actually
Glass.
say it's in McDonald's already.
There we go.
Well, Nancy, they did a survey.
They admitted that. They admitted that.
Yes.
Someone took
McDonald's.
one of those beef patties and broke it down, and they figured out that there was DNA from over 5,000 cows in each patty. Now think about what that means. How much that you have to chop things up to get DNA from 5,000 cows into a single patty.
Yeah, but what about the humans in the patties?
Well, I don't think they want to
That
look
is
at
what
that.
that's what's in them. Did you
According
not
to
see?
according to the first episode of Bob's Burgers, season 1, you're allowed to have 4% human meat in any That's a better. Only up to 4% human meat in any burger. Again, that's
Well,
Bob's Burgers.
Cherie, I don't know. Cherie now can actually take bodies and decompose them in her garden there when she's like sawing stuff up, right?
There we go. Yeah.
Gavin Newsom said you can use human bodies as compost, right?
It's just,
And I'm not
I
joking.
like that.
I am not joking.
wow. Didn't
that's
California try to push that bill? Yes, they did. They tried to push a
Yes.
bill. They tried to push a
I
bill
like it.
that said women were not responsible for the deaths of their babies in the first, was it week after the
it's more than that.
baby was
That's
born?
outrageous.
Something like that. But the idea is
28
the idea
days.
is to
28
support
days, Chris.
right, 28 days. The
Oh.
idea is, but the idea
Yeah.
still is to support abortion
That's murder.
after the baby's
That's
born.
murder.
After they're born.
Murder one. Yep,
Murder.
exactly.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that-
Murder.
That's
But that-
Red rum.
I mean, that's
Red
really
rum.
that's-
Right.
It's-
Right,
Red
red
rum.
rum.
Exactly.
Red
But
rum.
the thing, can I just say one thing? Because I'm a UK person looking at the American situation, and goodness knows what you think about the UK. But I know when I look at the American situation, all of this stuff that's going on is based on a lie. You have an illegitimate president, president. You have an because your election was stolen. Everybody knows it. The whole bloody world is
Bill
watching
Maher
it.
doesn't
You
know
know it.
it.
And so you've got all of these things that you're all going through, and this fear and all this nonsense, and somebody else is like pulling Biden strings. I personally think it's Obama myself. Anyway, so I'm trying to live out the thing that he couldn't live out before. So he's doing it behind the scenes. That's something but I just don't get how people aren't, like Cherie says, jumping up and down from the rooftops, watching all these agendas coming in, with the CRTs in the school and the drag queens going on and all and the nonsense that they're trying to feed our children with, and the infiltration and they're after our children. At the end of the day, they don't give a shit about us. They're after our kids. Huh?
It's the timing, because had they done this when my son was little, and my son's
Oh, God.
we would have, right? We would have had right,
You and me, Cherie. we
I'd
would've
be in
been
prison.
every-
I'm there. I haven't got any children, but I'm there.
It never
And-
happened. It
and I
I
wanna-
would be in prison.
I wanna
because
clarify
none
something.
of the, I would have flipped out.
I want to
would've flipped
clarify.
out.
Thinking, the parents. See, these parents should be doing what we're doing, be jumping from the rooftops.
Exactly.
We need more to do that.
Instead, they're boostering their kids.
I do want to
Mm.
clarify something for our audience, because somebody is going to whine and say, "Hey, somebody said we stole the election. The election was stolen."
Sorry.
No, the fact is, you
Something
cannot.
wrong.
Okay, hold on
Really
a
say
second.
something wrong.
I
Did
want
you
to
back in that
clarify.
referendum
I want to
else?
clarify. I want to
cut that
clarify
out.
this though. With clarifying this, the election was stolen honestly. The idea is there was proven manipulation when it came to hiding stories. Social media giants and the major news media deliberately hid the Hunter Biden laptop story, which would have
You're right.
changed, according to surveys,
We should have a whole
17%.
section on that, Chris, based
Right.
on like what's involved in that.
Right.
Still
I don't
But
wanna
not,
get into it
but
now.
not only
Yeah.
that, it was bragged about in Time magazine later on after the election that there were moneyed interests who fortified the election. This is all true, and there
Right,
was
right.
vote harvesting. All this is true. The problem was all of that was perfectly legal.
And
Well,
Zuckerberg
yeah,
with
they're
his
doing it
400
again.
million.
I mean, look right here. I asked them not to send me one.
Right. That's
But
Have your dogs gotten their ballots?
The thing is, Cherie, I mean, you've got savvy, right? But some people that have been sent that thing that you've got in your hand, which I believe is a load of nonsense anyway, but since they've been sent that, well, it's like an old person or somebody that doesn't have the savvy or is able to be manipulated. How many people are they going to get as a result of just their being like that as a person?
A lot.
Yeah.
They'll get a lot.
If you go to the polls like I do, and they want you to bring this, of course, they want you to bring it to them and hand it to them.
Right.
Make them tear it up in front of you. Do
Right.
not leave it with them.
Yeah, I never
I'll
got one.
tear
I
it
don't
up
think
in
they're
front of
doing that
them.
here in Texas.
Cherie, you did tell us this off the air yesterday. Exactly what happened, because you didn't want that ballot sent to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sure.
Well,
Sure,
I had to
tell
get
us,
in.
yeah.
I had to get my. I'm turning what 63.
No, you're
February,
not. No, you're not.
Oh, please.
Spring chicken,
November,
I think, whatever.
November
Stop
30th,
lying.
and so I had to
Stop
get my
lying.
driver's license, my new driver's license. Of course, that's so DMV. They made me fill this whole thing out. They made me speak to them, and they said, "Do you want a mail-in ballot. I said, absolutely not. Do not send me one. I'm going to go and vote in person like I always do. And then then they reached out to me via text again and said, you know, are you good? Would you like us to send you a ballot? I said, no. And then on the news about 4 days ago, on the local news, they said that they were sending out ballots to absolutely every single registered voter in California, regardless.
Even the dead ones.
Yeah.
Especially the
It's hey,
And my
here's-
mom was a staunch Republican.
Why the hell did
She's
they
been voting
ask?
Democrat ever
But-
since she died.
but this opens the elections up to vote harvesting, and
Mhm.
that's technically legal in a lot of states.
Mhm.
But there was there's a Republican in North Carolina who got in trouble for that a bunch of years back, a couple of years back. But Democrats don't get in trouble for that because that's okay. Stacey Abrams knocks on your door in Georgia. But by the way, I'm sorry, I have to label this correctly. Election denier Stacey Abrams knocks on your door in Georgia, trying to take some ballots and take. Don't let her in your house. Okay, just that's all I'm saying.
Also, anybody that has parents in assisted living or an old age facility, watch out. They will
Yeah,
agreed.
assist your parent in their vote. They will
Agreed.
vote for your parent. And you can just guess what party your parent now will be voting for,
Mhm.
regardless of what affiliation they have.
Yeah.
Watch out for that.
But
Yeah. I hate these people. I really do, you know, saying the big lie. I swear to
Yeah.
God.
And we
Calling
listened
it
to
a
Hillary
big
with
lie.
her big lie.
Hillary
That-
Clinton, yeah, I know, Susan.
That is important. Yeah,
Hillary's still going on to this day about,
Yes.
That's the
best
bigger
election
lie.
in
Imagine the
world,
gall
will be
she gets
stolen
on
from
Who
her.
top
talks
shows
like that?
and
I mean, we're
talks
no
about
longer
being
in
school.
elementary school. You know, we're not Kamala Harris. We don't talk like
We're not all
Tony
Howard Stern.
Here forward, we're going to refer to the Russian collusion hoax as the bigger lie. And I'm tired of hearing
Yes.
George Stephanopoulos.
The bigger
Yeah,
lie.
the big lie. News agencies calling it the big. They don't even have any proof that it was a lie in 2020. But there is proof that the Russian collusion hoax was a
I
complete
ran
lie.
an investigation of mass voter fraud. I don't want to go into it, but everything I investigated turned out to be factually accurate. So as far as I know, I'm saying on the record, there was cheating, mass cheating. And I dispute what Bill Barr said because Bill Barr called me and ordered me off the investigation. There's a clue
that's the
for
reason
you.
why you know.
To not continue my investigation of this mass move of curated ballots. Just saying. But we could have another full discussion on it another day.
Which
You
we
knew
will.
that guy was going to be a snake. But can I, as a UK person, I lost my thread. Oh God, I've lost my thread. Doesn't matter.
I gotta
Sorry.
ask you. I
Thinking
gotta
about
ask
Bill
you.
Barr, I can't stand him.
All right, before we finish up here, Jenny, I gotta ask you, how in the heck there were so many better choices within the Conservative Party. How did they come up with Liz Truss? I mean, what's the
I
deal
told
with that?
you she was
Yeah.
selected.
But I'm saying,
They're all
they could have
selected.
selected anybody else. Why this person? I mean, she's
Well, look and see how in the first week she got really close to Macron.
she's Boris
and-
Johnson light.
Yeah, well, no. I think it was a whole plan. It's like a little sting operation in their little department. And Boris was moved in. If you have to remember that Boris was exactly like Biden was. He was hiding in fridges. I kid you not.
Yeah.
He didn't go to any meetings. He didn't have anybody in front of him. He had the same kind of audience that Biden has, which is none. And yet he still got in. What does that tell you? The guy was selected. And so,
Yeah.
and in the same way, but for a certain period of time. He's like the biggest bumbling idiot that there ever were. But he's also, that's what the press want us to think. But that guy's got savvy because I understand that, I could be wrong, but that Zelensky and Putin were about to have some kind of peace deal at some point.
Yes, that's
He
true.
goes into town. And I might add, he goes there with no bomb vests or anything like that, and saying how dangerous it was in the Ukraine. He goes in there in his suit. Was he, Superman or something? Anyway, he goes there, and as soon as he comes back, the deal's off. And now
Yeah, that's true.
British people are struggling. We can't. We're choosing from heating and eating, which is what you're saying, Cherie. That our old people is just absolutely in fear of what's going to happen. The weather's getting colder by the second. It's the thing. The utility bills. How can a utility bill go up 200%? 200%.
Well, you know, Jen, I'm truly sorry for what you and the British people are going through, but all of our leaders are in on this.
That's right.
All of them, they're all in on it. Bill, they all say the same thing. Build back better. Build back better.
Yeah, nobody is exempt.
Nobody's
Yeah,
exempt.
yeah.
And
this
by
is-
the way, for our audience to know, this is a truly international event. Jen is in London. We've got our California crew on the other coast, the casual coast.
Yes.
And it's amazing that we're able to talk and converse across cultural and international boundaries to really recognize we all have the objective of just trying to tell the truth and speak to what we can do to help. And Jen, you know, I just love the fact you have the courage to be here and not worry about MI5 knocking down your door. So thank you very much.
You need to stop saying that. You're going to start getting worse.
Yeah, this is going to get bad.
You know what? I'm lying away. It's just like, I'm start hiding underneath the bed. Thanks for that.
Wait, well, didn't Edmund Blackadder say when the going gets tough, the tough hide under the table?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, that's the one.
This is why we have to protect our free society and protect the blessings of liberty. For more information on what we do at Project Sentinel, check out our website, projectsentinel.net. Watch more of our Culture Wars, The Insurgency with our friends here, and our other programs on Thought to Action. We'll have more coming. Once again, this is Chris Cordani with the Culture Wars Insurgency right here. Stay informed and make your day a great one.